everybody, I'm Billy Watkins, and this is the Whole Package by Premier Packaging. Today I am joined by Chuck Pomles here with Premier. Okay, spell this out for me. You're a design specialist, or are you a packaging application engineer?
So by job title within the world of Premier, my job title's packaging design specialist. But the role is more, if you think of it, as more like a consulting role, packaging consulting role. So we're working on kind of clarifying that and working on the title of like a packaging applications engineer. But the role for that 30-second elevator conversation is I'm a consultant. I'm going to come in and help you with anything around packaging, not just packaging, but what does it look like, your pack stations look like? What does this work cell look like? What does conveyance into the work cell or to the pack station look like? What does the outbound look like?
The package, how you use it, how you
100%. 100%. And that's much more encompassing, that type of title, and understanding.
If I wander off, or if it looks like I have, if I'm not paying attention, it really has nothing to do with you. I had a late lunch today, and I feel like for the rest of the interview, I smell pickle. Oh. And I think that's more on my mustache, but I apologize for that. So,
well, did you just say something?
Just to point that out. And I only do that with you because I know you. We've known each other for years now.
It's probably how long?
11 or 12 years.
Yeah, you've been with Premier 11, 12 years. I've been with Premier now 17 years, coming up on 18 years, 37 years in the industry. Kind of dating myself, I'm an old man now. Decades,
when you're talking decades long experience.
Thank you.
What do you do?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So you've got a lot of experience. In the industry in packaging design, but let's go back. Tell us your story. Tell us your story, Chuck.
The story of Chuck Pomles. It's real short. It's like a one-liner.
Okay.
So anyway, 37 years experience in the industry. Started off as a summer job actually in college because I went for one of those degrees, geography degrees. One of those are really applicable degrees that you can get a lot of opportunity for you out there. So as I went through this, the plant I started working at as a summer job happened to be real close to where I went to school.
Okay.
So general manager there said, hey, just let me know your schedule. You can come back and work weekends or just, a couple evenings or something, continue. And so through that process, through my final 2 years of school, graduating with a geography degree, with 2 years of Swahili as a language, there's a lot of application there. So was really lucky to be blessed to be around a bunch of men and women that just happened to teach me the industry as I went along. And that happened in those first 2 years. So it was a natural transition just to move into, hey, I'm going to come into the industry. It was an integrated company. It came into the industry, started working for them full time. Again, was in a market where there was multiple facilities with this integrated. Right. So I was able to come across a bunch of people that were willing to pour. I was willing to learn, so they were willing to pour into me and learn. So I went from the integrated up in the Chicago market, came through a couple independent companies through Chicago, and then came back to the integrated world, which brought me to Louisville. And that's where I met John Gaynor, the owner of Premier. Mm-hmm. And was working for integrated, but he was doing business with us and known him, started working with, helping supply his company, Premier Packaging. And been involved in that, been involved in not only in design, but production management, playing superintendent, at another integrated company. And after about 10 years, John, said he needed a little bit of help in design and engineering. It was a field I wanted to get back into within the realm of the company, and that's the story of how I got to Premier.
It's like a coin toss that geography and Swahili and packaging design. You could have worked for the State Department, I guess.
Exactly.
But here you are at Premier.
I had grand intentions. of becoming a university professor.
This has nothing to do with anything like my pickle comment, because I know a lot of people in that business, and I think we've spoken to some folks who have previously worked at integrateds. What type of environment is that? What is different about Premier than? Obviously the point of being an integrated is you're making the sheets, but what's different about?
Well, the thing that attracted me, and this is a general category, the thing that attracted me about coming to Premier was an integrated, you're very locked in to solutioning to the materials they offer,
Yeah.
and to the manufacturing capacity capabilities that they have, because you're always trying to optimize that. Where the Premier model, where we are a manufacturer and distributor model, be honest, the manufactured option may not be the best option for the client. The best option may be something from the distributor side of the business. Very common in cushioning and things like that. We look at some of this cushioning that's available out of these chambered air packaging and things like that. It allows me to solution what's best for the client. So it's that ability to become making decisions what's best for the customer or
Not
the
for us,
client, as
necessarily.
opposed to what's best for the business of Premier. And having the ability and the resources that we can offer all that is just phenomenal. We can offer all the custom packaging that an integrated does in terms of corrugated packaging and various other products like that. But then we have the ability to say, hey, maybe a stock item would be, but even just material sake, depending on what you're doing, we do a lot of electronics companies. We do a lot of electronics. There's still a world, while it's not necessarily the most sustainable path, on some of these very high dollar electronics, there's the option of not just trying to find a paper solution, but a hybrid solution where it's paper and the proper cushion. Being the ability that we have the ability to fabricate foam and do that type of stuff internally, that opens up a lot of possibility for not only what's, again, right for the customer, but also then what's right for sustainability.
Right.
Because, is it better to put something in the packaging that may not be curbside, it's still recyclable, but not curbside recyclable? It's an industrial recycle, as opposed to not having a expensive large electronic server or something like that, or switch, not survive.
Protected, yeah.
Yeah, what was just more stable, because there's that whole repeat. Not only do I have to replace that, but then I've got that whole transportation of sending things back and forth to repair centers, the whole 9 yards. So.
Which is not sustainable in and of itself,
No,
right?
no.
So what is that one of your favorite things about Premier? If you had something to say, I mean, the way we are able to partner with our customers, our clients, and provide them with the right solution for them. But what else? What do you like about Premier?
What I like about Premier is it is a company that it allows me to be, as a designer, be entrepreneurial with the solutions. What is that? If we need to develop something completely different, and you and I have been involved in quite a bit of projects that
Different stuff, yeah.
at the time we introduced them to the market, there was nobody else doing anything like that. So that ability to do that's pretty unique. And you don't, while you're still doing the proper things, you're staging and you're gating through the process to make sure it's going to be correct. It is the ability to do that at my level is just a designer is just awesome.
Huge.
So.
I mean, being here 18 years, what surprised you? What's happened at Premier? Or what?
The biggest thing that has surprised me is, no matter what has happened over the past 18 years, has been that there were some times where the rest of the economy, everybody's out panicking, and we're seeing continual growth.
Yeah.
That has been, you look at the early 2000s, things like that. I mean, that's just phenomenal.
Right.
And just to see the growth, when I started, it was, measured in tens of millions of dollars of business. Now we're measured in hundreds. And
Right.
that is, I don't want to say surprising, but it makes me smile.
Right. Good to be a part of.
Yeah, it's good to be a part of. And here's what I see as what does it is Premier's approach is Premier wants to be successful, but it wants to be a company. People say, I want to go out and win, right?
Right.
I want to go out and win. I want to be the best. Well, Premier wants to be in the top 10 performing in the industry, but we also want to have a model where the company continues to grow and sustains itself long after I'm gone.
Right.
And that's some pretty neat decisions to see management choosing that over the short-term gains.
Short-term gains, yeah.
Yeah.
So your current role as a design specialist, we spoke about this a little bit, but I mean, day to day, what are you doing?
So it really depends on the need at the time. I spend a lot of time doing two tasks, going out and supporting in the field our sales teams from a design, engineering, a process type perspective, going to customers' locations and sites, performing what we call overall a site assessment. Okay, we're going to go through, we're going to tour everything from front to back, from when something hits your dock door to when it goes out the other side of the building. And we're going to tour it through, and we're going to look for opportunities to help the customer to improve, not just for Premier, but we'll come back and start looking for opportunities, and we'll come and build a report for you that kind of says, hey, here's some of the bullet points of things that we saw that could be possible places where you can improve. Some of them, because it's not in our area of expertise, but we see these things out there, Mr. Customer, that,
Right.
those are for you to take on yourself. Or other ones, there's ones that we can help you with. And then that's where I come in a lot of, then the follow-up to that is those ones that we can help our customers with. I'll come in and do the detailed, what we call targeted assessments, where we go in and look at specifically, hey, we need to do a time study to improve this process and to look at emotions, what's happening here. Hey, we need to do a dimensional weight shipping. The small parcel carriers have moved to a dimensional weight model years ago, but
Right.
it's coming, it's getting redone again here as of late. So what is that most effective thing? It's just simple fact that our client's contract changed with a small parcel contractor. There's a variable in there called divisor. Some of those contractual obligations change. It could be reevaluate the packaging based on the new contractual obligations. Again, workflow, automation, machinery and automation. Our team works very closely with the automation team. We can help to identify automation opportunities and start that chain rolling, along with designing the packaging and the process around that helps to maximize for our clients that opportunity.
What's the hardest part about that? The not necessarily the solutions that you come up with. Is it just getting into the customer and allowing that type of procedure to be done?
It is truly, we're building, the goal for my role is to come in and become a asset to the customer, almost if you can look at it like a contracted employee of that customer. So really finding a customer that's willing to partner with us, that's willing to work, let us help them work through. I'm very cautious in the words that I use here. I'm saying let us help them, because they're part of this process too. It's not just we're coming in and doing everything for you. You've got to be involved in that, because they have the onus to make sure to validate that everything we're doing is going to work in their system. So that is the real critical, is that building those relationships. Because it's funny, we talked about early off in my career, some of the people that I learned from. I've had opportunities from some very large fulfillment companies, manufacturing companies, and then typical distribution companies, where I've come across both operational and engineering people that, again, I was willing to listen and learn, and they were willing to teach. Mm-hmm. So that is the ability to understand how these operations work. And because, the clientele we go into, there's some very, very sophisticated clients Certainly, that we deal with. And being able to understand, let's just take it into target on fulfillment, knowing their warehouse management system and understanding how their processes work, knowing the executable within that in the process and how we can help them to optimize that. Not only in packaging, but even in the storage. I mean, we took a building for a client that was, designed to hold a multi-million numbers of pieces
SKUs,
of product,
right,
SKUs, and we increased that capacity by 50%. By simply optimizing the storage with
existing space.
We didn't change their infrastructure. We just helped them to rearrange. We added to their infrastructure, but the core infrastructure, the racking, the shelving, whatever it may be, stayed. And that's very common, but the customer has to be willing to work and understand that. So finding those customers and working with them is always very exciting, as you know.
Yes,
because you've been in that. You've been in the other. Where I've done the engineering. You did the install.
Execution, yeah.
Yeah, you executed it.
And we could probably that would be part 2 of the Chuck and Billy show.
Yes,
would be lovely to spend
Well,
about
could you
20
ta-
minutes talking about bin boxes.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
all of that. Yeah.
What a changer that is, and some of the things that we've come up just recently, and you've seen a couple of them.
Yeah.
That we're starting. Those could be pretty earth-shattering, especially for for younger companies looking, especially in these times right now where the economy is not quite sure of its direction it's heading.
Right.
This could be a potential help for a lot of companies.
What are the maybe not bin boxes, maybe not just an RSC, but what are the elements of good packaging design as you see it?
So the first and most important thing is it's got to obviously protect the product. It's got to get it from point A to point B. But right behind that, and that's the obvious one, but right, depending on the priority, you can either put it right before or right after. It's got to be friendly for both the manufacturer or the distribution network, whatever that looks like, so that you take out those operational costs. Operational costs are huge. We need to try to help our clients minimize those operational costs, or that's usually regards to making things as effective and efficient as possible. Right. So that's one of those things that go in the good packaging. What does it do? Obviously, depending on the client, they may throw branding into that. Branding can be very, very important for certain product categories. So we've got to look at that and can consider that. So it really is, it's a case by case. I don't want to say it's truly a case by case. It's almost like a business segment by business segment understanding of that. And again, going back to Premier, that we're not just necessarily tied to industrial manufacturing type
Right.
things. We have that ability to provide, very high level branding.
Not one size fits all.
Yeah,
it is,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just not that one size fits all
A
solution.
tailored suit, a bespoke.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you, man.
Oh, that's nice. Nice.
I know, isn't that handy? I was going to dig out my cough drop.
Done about 50 of these, and no one's ever brought me a drink.
It's because they like me better.
You did sound like you were about to pass out, so it was probably good that happened. What does that? What do the trends that we see so much now in packaging, like with especially sustainability, some luxury packaging? I mean, how has that changed how you design?
So it's interesting. That's actually a really good question. That could almost be another
show.
So
we got a series.
Yeah, no, the whole series here. Oh wow. From a fiber-based, a paper-based packaging, paper especially has been in North America in particular, has been quite sustainable for a long time because you have the corrugated recycling, and that's the obvious part. But even the virgin fiber, it's been years, and I'm not even years, more decades. Let's talk 60s and 70s.
Right.
The transition from
Paper companies got a lot better at managing their
the forest.
forests. Yeah.
Exactly. It's coming from what they call a managed forest, which means it's effectively a tree farm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that is a very sustainable model, and it actually helps the environment because the different plants, different animals thrive in different environments, and whatever there's different flora and fauna, and the different flora, different fauna is gonna go
Live
better.
there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's always been very, very sustainable. So a paper-based solution, not only can it be recycled and reused multiple times, it's probably about 7 times is on average that you can take a corrugated box and recycle it before the fiber becomes too short that it becomes newsprint. And then the newsprint from one more disposable item after that.
Right.
So from a paper perspective, it's very good. Now we're starting to see, okay, what can we do to take out and minimize the petroleums, oil-based packaging additives? And that's working out really interesting. It's coming, there's a lot of unique things where now all of a sudden there's a couple companies that we're working with that we're able to start putting a coating onto these polymers that actually allow the bacteria in landfill to digest them, and the byproduct is a methane. Now, is that methane necessarily good? But that's something we can, again, get to the point that we can start to filter out in the environment of the landfill as that's released. So it is sustainability isn't just necessarily cutback and stuff like that. It's the right use. There's even a move, like everybody was going for for many years there, especially late 90s, early 2000s. Everybody's like, it's got to have more and more recycled content. Well, what we found out as you go to more and more higher recycled contents, you actually have to have more fiber per 1,000 square feet to create it. Well, to create more fiber per 1,000 square feet, you're using more water and electricity and the whole 9 yards. Where if you keep a very high level virgin fiber, especially with the new machines, these high performance paper machines nowadays, you can actually go to, if it's 100% virgin fiber, significantly less amount of paper by paper weight. And there's an application when you're a large company, there's applications where using 100% virgin fiber, I'm going to start my emissions for transporting that, my petrol costs, my oil, the carbon from transportation is going to be less because I'm able to put more per truck based on weight. If I'm weighing out a truck right now, my packaging could help to lightweight that truck and allow me to get more in there. Or the truck just becomes lighter overall, which means less fuel use, whatever that method of transportation may be. So there's a lot of unique things going on besides just recycle, reuse that we can really look at.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you need a packaging design specialist. Right there.
Exactly. I need to be employed. I got 2 in college still. Going for advanced degrees. I need to pay for that.
You have enjoyed a long and successful career in this industry. I like the fact that a lot of that was brought about by kind of a generational passing of the torch of information, people that you've met and learned from along the way. I kind of feel the same way. So, what would you say to the young whippersnappers coming up that might want to get into packaging and specifically packaging design?
There is a neat opportunity there because it's a field. Packaging in general is kind of one of those under the radar career choices. Yeah, it's a career choice where you're going to make a very comfortable and very solid living. Okay, and if you apply yourself, you can do very, very well. As for the opportunity, the market's changing right now in terms of the materials like we're talking about and stuff right now. So now's a great time to learn. You find a company like Premier where we invest a lot into our training programs and what we're doing with our employees and trying to grow them to the next skill levels. What an exciting opportunity. That's one of the things the past few years I've really gotten involved in is what does this training look like and and actually executing the training of these people. Not only just designers, but even, just what customer service and what does the shipping department look like, and help them to understand it, help the manufacturing side to understand more. It's interesting, and you can find people like that want to engage, and that's one of the things I think Premier does pretty well is that ability to help you to learn.
Yes, most definitely. I was just thinking when you were talking about the manufacturing floor, with some of your designs, do you try to stay away from the manufacturing? Do they want to?
Actually, they know when I've got something up my sleeve when they start seeing me come out on the floor.
Yeah, they're like, oh, great, Chuck's got it.
What's he going to do to us now? And
we know this maxes out the machine, but here,
Yeah, they have learned to accept it. It was definitely getting comfortable with us. We've learned to accept that I know what the machine capabilities are. I know we can produce this. What's it going to take us to get to the point that we can do this next trick? Simple thing is some of the examples of a customer, a design's difficult to fold and it has a perforation on the score, and we don't want the break and fracture because it doesn't present well. Okay, well, there's some tricks with the tool that we can do, the cutting die that we can do. We can work with production to get through that. And actually, as we've developed that partnership, it's no longer like this dread of fear, like everybody opens up the machine and runs and hides inside the machine where I can't, I can't get to them because I don't have a lockout tagout key. You know what I'm saying? They actually, have developed a good relationship with that, and the equipment that we've been getting on board. That capability.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
It is. It is some of the neatest equipment. And as I say, coming from a manufacturing background, I had some very nice equipment at the time for that generation of machines. This is nice, and it's like wow, I wish I had that.
Exciting for you.
Yeah.
Well, then to another 30 years in the business then.
Yeah.
Maybe not that long, but
Well,
Close to
you're just like, yeah, it's going to be what? Another 30 years, I'll be 87.
Keep going, man.
Yeah, there you
Keep
go.
going. As long as you got the ideas. We could do this all day.
Yes.
I could talk to you all day about this and then some. So maybe we'll do it again.
Awesome. This has been fun. It's been enjoyable.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Ladies
you,
and
sir.
gentlemen, Chuck Pomles, design, packaging
Packaging
design.
application engineer.
That one too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Billy Watkins with The Whole Package by Premier Packaging. Until next time. Thanks, everybody.
Do you have comments, questions, or ideas about this topic? If so, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit primpack.com/podcast to let us know what you think. Thanks.